Okay, so we are back, and now we're gonna try to get the other sample to work, which is the Google Translate one. So let's say we go to open, and we go to ESP and ADF examples, and in this cloud services, and translates the Google Translate service. Let's open it. Yes, I trust this author, and then let's start with compiling it. Okay, it's good so far. Looks like it. Oh, I've already connected the board, so it should be able to hear what we want to say. Now let's go to the code, translate.c. So if you look at it from the main, it will be that. Let's search for the function main. So this is the make file, so that's not our main. We're looking for .c file. So translate device, this is our main, right? So it's compiled all right. Now let's see if we can flash it. We say uart. It couldn't because we haven't selected the configure, select the port. So we select this port and Google Translate, and then try to flash it, and some error occurred. So it happened sometimes to me. So what I'll do is I'll restart the code, and it worked. So let's see if that is the case in this time as well. So I go to code, close this one. We're not doing this one. Which one is that? This one is the record to SD card. We don't want that. We want is the Google Translate device. Okay, so we have here scan for the compiler on this computer. We were able to compile it already. I'll compile one more time. Where is the compile thing here? Let's compile all right. Then select the port to this Google Translate, and then we will try to flash one more time. So now it's flashing perfect. So that was the problem I often face. If cannot flash, then restart the Visual Studio Code, select the port, and then flash it. Now this is the main. We will see that what it does. Okay, now flashing it's done. Then let's open the output. We need to set up the Wi-Fi because disconnected from SSID. So let's set up this. Where is the my SSID? SDK configure. So I'll set my Wi-Fi is chestnut 2. Chestnut 2. My password is hey gaga. Now we need to find Google API key. So to find the Google API key, okay, let's go here and then Google Translate API key. Okay, set up cloud translation. Before you begin, create a project, go to your project selector, go here, let's use MindCloud, okay, and then is the project info, and here should be the APIs. Enable API and services. Enable API and services. Translate. Cloud translation APIs. Okay, enable this API. enabled it, enabling it. Okay, it's enabled. And then this is the credentials, and they should have my API key. Remember to configure. Oh, it's configure. We don't want that. We just want our API key, which was in MindCloud. Project is MindCloud, correct? Then translate APIs, and where is the API key? SK library credentials API key. So let's see how to get Google Translate API key. Create new project, translate key. Enable, we enabled it already. Then credentials and API key. Let's go to credentials, and then what did it say? Credentials, API credentials, create credentials, and inside the credentials is the API key.
फ्लैश ड्राइव है?
हाँ है.
कहाँ?
कन्फिगर ढूंढता हूँ मैं, उसको मत छेड़ो. अभी रुक जाओ, मैं बाद में बताता हूँ, पहले मुझे ये कर लेने दो. Create credentials, API key, generate API key, creating the API key. This is the API key. Let's take it and put in the project. So this is our project. We put it in here. Okay. And now SDK configure, which is what we did. Why we have to do it twice? Okay, I should read more how this project works, but let me just try the ad hoc way first. Just need to, and Wi-Fi password. How many places it needs me to do this? Just need to, and this is the API key. Should have been actually one place. Perhaps this is the menu somewhere, but let's see we done this, and then we'll build again. Building. Meanwhile, I wanted to see what are the language settings that it has set. So if I search for main, then this is our, not this main, but translate device example. And then now let's flash it also. So it's flashing, and then create task, translate task, ESP no error, default, AP graph handle, button handle, Wi-Fi handle. Okay, flashing is done. Now if I go here, so it is connected to the internet. All right, disconnected from auto reconnect. Driver already installed. All audio is null, and which we configured the last time. From here, not here, we configured it from where? That it was not damn, I forgot in 2 days. How did I do this? Configure edit manual, was it that? Yeah. And in this bootloader diode SPI, oh, this is Lyra T. it should be Lyra Mini. Lyra T Mini. Okay, then guess need to build again and burn again. I should save. Okay, didn't I save it the last time? This time let's save it, make sure it goes there and burn it again. Okay, flashed, and now this got disconnected from Wi-Fi, auto reconnect enabled, so it connected, still the hall is null. Ni hao. Okay, I think we should look at the instructions now. Read me. This application demonstrates the use of Google Service Translate each pin into one language, another language. Press record button, say something in Chinese and release the button. The device will then use the Google APIs. Just convert recorded audio file into text in Chinese, language support, translate into English and convert translated text into audio file. Finally device will play back this. Okay, let's try record button. There is a record button on the appliance here. Which one is the record button? Reset record. Okay. Ni hao ma. Driver already installed. Nothing really happened. Did I press the wrong button? No. This is the mode button. No. This is a record volume set play record. Ni hao. Nothing really happened. Maybe I restart the board. Reset boot. Okay. And then ni hao. Ni hao. No, it didn't. So it is saying configure the example. Select compatible audio port in menu config, which we did. Go to the Google, get the Google, enter the API in menu config example configuration. Enter the API key, SSID password, and menu config. Maybe we need to set this there. Okay, let's look at the menu config. This is what it said, right? Audio hall. Select the compatible board, which we did in audio hall this. And then what did it say? After that, enter API key, SSID, and this. Where is the API key and SSID? Chinese speech command mode. PDF feature. Google API key we already set. Password set. So it got it from here. Compiler operation. This. Okay, this is okay. Maybe it didn't save it, and that's why the hall is failing. And let's restart the studio code one more time, if that is what's happening. Failing to open the hall. Scan for it, build it. Don't show this again.
I have to do laundry.
No, Papa, I thought about the way to punish Hey Hey if next time she first steal money stuff, I will
Flash
rent
it.
one of those.
Rooms for me to live in.
I will rent one of those box homes
For me to live in.
for you to live there. For a
few
week.
days.
Let you
By myself?
let the bed bugs bite you.
By myself?
Yep.
That's
And
legal.
then
I'm
let's
not
open
leaving
the
that.
terminal.
I'm not living that.
That's legal?
Well,
Wi-Fi.
that's where you will be.
Now there is no error, so now it should work, right? So listen to the command. So I will press the button and I will say something in
Welcome to
Chinese.
science school.
Ni hao.
Mathematical.
Okay, there are no errors, but nothing is happening either. Right? Hello, hello, hello.
早晨點？
Okay.
我咁，我正。
Load and run example. Speak something in Chinese. If you do not know Chinese, use Google Translate. Translate some text into Chinese. Press record button. Wait for LED. I am recording something, please. Blinking, or we will start speaking now. So we did not get that. Wi-Fi is connected, right? Let's see. Wi-Fi new. Wi-Fi event. Enable event base. Event ID. R2SB is already created. Verify Wi-Fi got this IP. That means it's connected. And now if I press the record button, it should blink the red LED, which it doesn't. Can you pass my glasses, please? And nothing is coming onto the thing either. So we don't know what is happening at this point in this. So I'll figure it out and I'll come back. Okay, so we are back. I found the problem. I looked at the code of the player that was working and I saw how it was setting up the event handler. So here is the audio board installing and it starts the peripherals, default audio init, I2C, these peripherals, right? So when it created the default peripherals and then it set it to the audio board key init, which was missing in this project. So what I did is it was initializing all right, but it was not setting it like that. So I just added this and now started getting the events. So let's say if I run now, then I read the board and then I also added a little bit of code. The original code was if it was peripheral ID button, then it was going back in there, that ID button was received, and I think I need to set that back, but we'll come to that later. And then it was, if it now is a record button, it was continuing. What I added is that if input volume add, so what I did now is I think I'm making something not right now, but we will come to that as well. Is that if get input mode, it's a mode button, so it breaks if the mode button is pressed. So what I should do here is I am doing this and this. What I should do is, okay, fine, that what I am doing now is I am checking if it is a volume button, volume up button, volume down button, or record button. Then I do these things, else I continue. So nothing else is noticed, right? So now if you notice the bottom here log, when I press volume up, then volume up is done. When I press volume down, the volume down is pressed. Now the code is written such that when I press and hold this volume up, volume down, when your press button was pressed, the record button on the board, then it should start Google text to speech stop when it's released, and then it will do the service. Otherwise, when I release button pressed, so it's other way around, it is doing on button press this thing, and on button release this thing stop the pipeline. But why is it doing stopping it at the pressed? Is it waiting for the next press or what? So we don't know. But we will see that what happens if I now record. Now I've also done is change the default language to Hindi. So here was the setting for it was set to Chinese first. So I have changed it to Hindi and translate to English, right? So now, okay, let's go back to the source. Here, what we want to check is that, so volume is fine, this is fine. We are most interested in this when record button is selected and if the command is pressed, button was pressed, resume the pipeline, and when button is released, stop the pipeline, right? So we're gonna try to stop this, and then it calls the Google Translate original text this, and we will try to do that. Now I will record the message and try to send the message. आप कैसे हो? But before I could actually get the anything going, what it did is that okay, this was ESP ADF, this was already there. So app CPU, this was not the log we're looking for. We had the volume up and down volume set already, right? So this is our last thing. This is where I press the button after this. This is right. So it says Google Translation example, HTTP task allotted stack task element SRT. So I2S it's trying to get the audio pipeline which is recording the sound and not a volume or record button, so it returned somehow. I mean it continued. Event received source type this command volume. I don't know why it's doing still volume. Maybe I should remove that and bring back the original code. Event type, please use SR buffer size greater than 6114 and failed to process user callback. This received this. HTTP stream request write chunk Google SR destroyed, something did not init, destroying now, and received the fetch and all of this, right? So something that I've done which is breaking, so we will come back to that. Alright, so what I have done is I have removed the volume up down thing, and then now I am checking if the button is pressed and what button is pressed, and if it's not a record button we go back, so no more volume stuff. And then we see the button pressed, and then when release it should stop the pipeline, right? And then when the button is pressed, so logically it should only go here if it's a record button, right? So if record button is pressed, it should init, and in the init it is actually reading the buffer that's coming in, and when release it will stop the pipeline, and that's when it get the translate button, right? So now if I run this, I have some tag format. What did I do? Some error got introduced into the code. Okay, what's the error? We will find out. Trying to, okay, there is no error here. Okay, now it's burning. Okay, I was trying to see what button is pressed. Seems like there is something going on over there, so we will see to that. Now we have let's see, let it get burnt. It's flashed now. Nice flash, nothing is happening. It's connecting to the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is connected now, and Wi-Fi is connected, and now it's listening to the peripheral. So some event came, but which is not to do with us. Now if I press, let's say, volume up, it just see, and it should be 5, and it returned. So what it means is that the button was pressed, which was 0, but because it's not 5, it was returned, right? So same thing happened if I pressed 1. So 1 was pressed and it was returned. And same too, like if I press play, which is 3, it was returned. So it starts from 0. So here if you see, this is the 0. If I press 0, which is volume up, it's a 0 here. And then if I press 1, this is 1. And number 3 is set. Number 2 is set, which was returned. And similarly, number 4 is play. 3 was returned. And number 5 is mode. We don't want to do mode because it will exit. And that number was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is supposed to be the record, right? So when I press the record button, it should come in, it should pass here, come here, and it should start pipeline. So here we are. I'll hold. आप कैसे हो? And then I released, but before I release, it already went ahead and this. Google was destroyed, something did not in it destroying now. This line I wrote. But why would it go and exit already? So let's see. 3 was not record, this was correct. So when I press the record, here it went in resuming pipeline. So where it went here, resuming pipeline, and stack allocation on internal memory, element created, function audio pipeline run, line this. And then message command resume pre-request. So this is the pre-request. I saw this code. This was the pre-request code where length is 0. Okay, event received is in again our this one. It was event received. Press button 12 was not record, so it received some message which was 12 and should be 5, and it returned. So that's okay, right? Because it shouldn't have come here. 0, which was not recorded, retain. It says start speaking now. Okay, so maybe I did it too early. I should wait for this start speaking now, and then I should wait so the SR buffer can become more than 0. Translate the stop pipeline when I release, then it happened. I guess I stopped it too early without the thing. So what I will do is start speaking now. I will make it start speaking now. So in this, what I'll do is I will add a bigger thing like this so that I know I need to start speaking now. Yeah. So let's burn it again, and then we wait for this to become start speaking now. Now I'm holding it closer to me because the mic is over here, and we will see to that. Okay, Wi-Fi is connected, and now it's waiting for events, so I'll start. आप कैसे हो? But it got, so start speaking now already got exited, so that is why it got destroyed and there was nothing in the buffer, hence the response was nothing. So we need to figure that out. Okay, so some progress made, and let's see what happens. First of all, see what happens here when I press the record and holding it, and when I'm holding it, it showed that here start speaking now, and then there is a LED blinking, but then immediately after there was an error, start speaking now, please use SR buffer greater than this size, right? So this was the error which we saw in the last time also. I saw it but didn't pay attention to it, that where would it get, right? So what I did is I debugged further, and so SR init is initialized by SR config, and SR config, so if you see here the buffer size, right? So the default buffer size was set to only 2 KB, and this is expecting it to be at least 6 KB. So if I set it to 6144, and then even if I don't set it here, then it will still get set to this size, right? So now I compile again, and then we'll try again. Alright, so let's wait for it to connect to Wi-Fi. It is connected to Wi-Fi now. Now it's waiting, and then I go waiting for the message. नमस्ते, आप कैसे हो? क्या आपने खाना खाया? खाने में क्या खाया? And now I release. So now at least it says that it got the 9-second video that it sent to the server, and stream post request event received this. However, we don't have any output. Doesn't really matter, but we have some data that we will check what is happening and where is it going.